Indeed. And greetings upon you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you so much for joining me, Shannon and Jovan. Such a pleasure having you friends here already. Whew, today's topic. You know, I I've been almost like mildly paranoid, like mildly, just like this much paranoid about the last few days. You know, uh, big changes are coming apparently, and you're gonna have to make decisions, and you're gonna transformation story, right? Like so much stuff has been put into my mind, and I was creating this sense of anxiety around what this transformation is going to mean for me, for the space, for us friends as a collective. And now I feel like I've almost gotten to this point where I know what the next thing is that I have to address within my life, within myself. And this is something I'll have to continue addressing as I go into the future, as we go into infinity. Day 485. Happy day 485. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us on the Reddit side. It's so nice to have you here. I have my bong here. Going to a part of this whole recognition, closing of a chapter. I think of today as a closing of a chapter of maybe unintentionally being an asshole, an opening of a new chapter of only intentionally being an asshole and no longer unintentionally being an asshole. That's at least where my mind is going. And it's so brutal sometimes because we get these these data sets, from a source that might not be comfortable. We might not feel very good for it. But even though that might be the case, even though we mightn't feel good for it, we can still learn from it. And I feel I want to learn with you friends today. Thank you for joining me. It's such a pleasure having you here always. Yo, same. Shannon. So, like I wanted to go through the motions, but I'll share with you friends now. Like there was a little bit of a conversation, an exchange had today that was in the context of things being said, if you will. And specifically, with the things being said, there was information transferred to me, relayed, maybe is a better word, that one of my siblings said to my father that I am still just as big an asshole. I'm just an asshole while smiling, or I'm just an asshole with a smile on my face. Something like that. And I've been dealing with that the whole day, thinking about it from this perspective of being willing to admit it as true, as like, have I been an asshole? And maybe, and it's it's been this process of the universe trying to show me in different ways. Instantly, I think about Dan, Poopsie. Wait a second. No freaking way. Dan, dude. Like, I swear, I'm only now seeing your username after Lisa said that. So, like, one of the first things that Dan said to me, what? This is trippy, dude. Dan, dude. Okay. Recenter. Okay. One of the first things that Dan said to me is that I'm based. That's the word he used. It's like, Melt, you're pretty based. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what that means. And Dan explained to me that based means that you say things the way they are. You don't sugarcoat, you don't try and beat around the bush. You just kind of get to the point and say things as they are without trying to please one side or another, just being authentic to what it is that's going on inside of you, right? And I was like, yeah, I feel that. Thank you, Dan, for seeing me. And that was a while ago now, but I've been holding on to it. And then about 3 days ago, I got to have a conversation with a friend. And during this conversation, we were talking about some pretty serious subject matter, if it can be said in that way. Not serious in the context of life or death, just serious in the context of whatever decision gets made is going to have repercussions, serious repercussions. And we're having this conversation, and at the end of the conversation, she says, "Thank you." She needed my perspective. She needed the perspective of someone who isn't going to bullshit her. And then she mentioned that within this, me not being a bullshitter, at least when it comes to serious, interrelationship problems, she was like, jy kan partykeer 'n bietjie arrogant wees, maar dit is omdat jy arrogant is van 'n plek van wete af, which basically translates to you can be a little bit arrogant, but that arrogance usually comes from a place of, loving knowing, or knowing loving, or knowing love, like I love you and I know what it is you might be going through, and the love inside of me wants to say this, try and help you. And like the arrogant comment didn't bother me that much. I kind of felt like it was a pretty neutral comment. Like, sure, I know I can be arrogant sometimes. I'm fully willing to admit that. But her willingness to say that I'm if I'm arrogant when it comes to subject matter, I'm arrogant because I'm trying to help. And then today, hearing that I am just as big of an asshole, only now I do it with a smile on my face. Like I've been dealing, I've been having a hard time hearing stuff like that. Like, goodness, the amount of work we've been trying to do to to change. Like I've changed a lot. I used to be so angry at the world, constantly angry at the world, and it made me an asshole. It made me, lash out about the smallest things. It made me hypercritical. So if I see anything being done wrong, I would be an asshole about it, because in that moment I had some sense of power. I had some like upper ground, some vantage point. But I'm no longer angry. Like, if I'm angry at anyone, I'm angry at myself. And within this willingness to admit that I'm no longer angry, I genuinely feel like I'm not trying to be an asshole. I genuinely am not trying to be an asshole, but if it's still interpreted as me being an asshole, maybe there's something that needs to be changed within me. Maybe there is something that I need to become aware of. Maybe there's something that I need to change in order for me to be less of an asshole. And I'm willing to take advice. Please, like, Melt, if you do so and so, maybe you'll be perceived as less of an asshole. I'll be like, thank you. Please teach me. I'm your humble student right now. But I'm struggling. I am struggling because I don't feel like an asshole. That's the problem. That's the real problem. And feeling that way after being told something instantly creates this narrative inside of my mind of, if other people say something about you, right? And it's not like multiple people are saying it to me. It is just my dad saying it to me, paraphrasing apparently something that my brother said about me, right? So it's just a small fractal where that information is coming from. But I'm not going to just be like, oh no, impossible, cannot be. So I'm like sitting in this position of trying to think of what it is I'm doing, if I'm doing something that is perceived in that way. And the only thing that I can think is just me saying things. And today in my manifestation entry, I asked for the wisdom to be able to say things without it being interpreted as me being an asshole. And I don't know if that's the right way to manifest something, but I was like, please help me say things that will make me not be an asshole. You know what? To not being an asshole, friends. Connecting to the highest self through bridge, and from the highest self not being an asshole, please. Thank you. Maybe my highest self is an asshole. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe okay. Not being an asshole. I will not be an asshole. I will be loving. I will be joyous. I will be pleasant. I will be soft spoken. I will be gentle. I'll be understanding. Whew. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna do the job. Dan with a bro. That's not the truth at all. That's the bully in your mind. Inspiring anxiety. We all have the capability to be an asshole, but you define yourself in each and every moment. Stay present, my friends. Thank you, Brother Dan, for reminding me as well. I'm not believing it. I'm just willing to ponder. I'm willing to sit with this information that's been given to me. I'm willing to look at all of the things that I've said. I'm willing to admit that I might be able to do things differently. You know, I I am willing to admit that. But the problem, and I feel this is the conundrum that I'm facing, and I feel it's the conundrum that a lot of us are facing. If we're perceived as assholes, especially when it's in a certain social context where you're saying things to loved ones, right? Like sometimes you trying to share love, you trying to create discourse, you trying to create a sense of awareness if inside someone, be it depending on what it is they're eating, habits, stuff that they keep doing over and over again that you know this is not serving them. Upon you bringing that into the foreground, the forefront, you can be perceived as an asshole. So it's this infinity again of, on the one side, you love the other person and you want to help them, whatever that means. And if you can help anybody at all, let's put that aside. And then on the other side, there is the understanding that by not saying something, you can't be perceived as an asshole, right? Damn it. There goes my Reddit stream again. Man, it's been consecutively spicy. So I guess at least there is consistency in their inconsistency, right? That's something. We'll have to start it up again. At least I hope whatever was said. I feel like it could have been better, but I hope whatever was said was well received. We got a new kitten. We got a new kitten. Yesterday after stream finished, I found there's a new cat, and we might see her during stream today. Mm, there we go. Live again on the Reddits. I like to imagine what everybody said. Mm, okay. Thank you for all of your nice words. I imagined what you might have said. I might have imagined wrong, and if I did, please do, say whatever it is you said that wasn't lovingly again, or whatever you choose to. I'm here with you. Literally say everything you're saying, Mel. Me too. Shannon, I'm so happy to be sharing these, these feelings, these understandings, these interpretations, because I know, and I was like really thinking about that during today's meditation. Something that I say all the time. I'm not opening the space up or, sharing the information I feel like I'm supposed to be sharing every day because I believe that I'm the only one that has it. Quite the contrary. The fact that we all share this information at heart, the fact that we're all intuitively going through these same infinities, and yet we're going through it in such a unique and personal way that it's the details aren't exactly applicable, but the initial fractal is. And that's what we're exploring. And by exploring that, even if it's by proxy, you can learn from yourself, you can gain understanding, you can grow in your ability to actually effectively deal with that situation when it comes back into your life. Dan, and thank you for joining us so much, Auntie. It's so nice to have you. So I said this in the other stream, but a lot of people thought it was an asshole. Socrates, Jesus Christ, Nikola Tesla, etc. Oh yes, Elon Musk, right? Dan. Oh goodness, Marcus Aurelius, Einstein, Nietzsche. Nietzsche might have been a little bit of an asshole though. We're all assholes. We all have assholes, so I guess so, right? It just depends on where you start labeling the human being. If you start asshole first, everybody is an asshole. sorry. I'm so sorry. The list goes on forever. That it does, Brother Bay. Thank you for being kind to me, friends. For allowing me to never feel like I need to be an asshole to any of you. Right? Like at least that's the thing I'm feeling right now. Noam Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky. I like that sounds like a fake name, but I'm pretty sure it's not that. But that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. We're all assholes. I mean, when we're when there's a need for it, why not? I feel you completely. Corey, thank you so much for joining me, Brother Bay. And I'm coming from this perspective of thinking about being a dad one day. So I'd like to hear your perspective on that as well. Whew. Like, how do you balance trying to help, just be a fruit cup or your family and not trying to help and then remaining not an asshole? Like that's the feeling I have in my mind right now. So I'm imagining myself as a dad one day, and I'm like, oh yeah, my kid is gonna hate my guts because I'm gonna be an asshole in his world, and I see that, and I completely understand that, but I don't. I, how do I mitigate it? How do I find balance within that? Mm, I, for real, think you guys are doing just fine. The fact that you're aware and connected and willing to improve, it shows you're not that. Thank you, Jovan, for saying that as well. It was something that Ryan also transmitted. It's just if you're really an asshole, right? Fully blown asshole. In your world, there's no possibility of you being an asshole. You're like, yes, everybody else is wrong. It's that meme of, am I out of touch? No, it's the kids who are wrong. that that mentality, right? Like if you have that mentality, the whole question of am I out of touch and then concluding that no, in fact, I'm not out of touch, everybody else is. That is you being out of touch. That is you being the asshole. So and I it's so funny how these things happen because I was not trying to talk about this today and I was like, no, I'm gonna keep this for myself. It's a transformation moon, whatever story. Don't want to talk about this yikes subject matter. No, only love and peace and wonder and rainbows and unicorns flying out everywhere and pancakes. I cannot, I cannot pretend that we're not just going through this stuff. It's these type of things, at least in my opinion, that can make us feel so disconnected at the end of the day as well, because it shows us again just how little we know. Even though we've been doing this our whole lives, we still don't fully know how to deal with it sometimes. Like, and I don't know if it's it might be if it's fully an ego problem. That's what I wanted to ask. It might be just an ego problem. mm, because you only think of your parents as assholes when you have an ego, right? Like up until the age of like 6, 7, like maybe 6, you haven't developed an ego yet. You just are pure awareness. You're just, experiencer. And then you start developing this narrative, this story of, oh, I like this. When so and so happens, my brain happy. And then whatever my brain happy, you start telling yourself stories about, oh, that's me. Because my brain happy when so and so, me. But it's bad math. Doesn't work that way. And then you start developing this ego. You're like, okay, I like so and so, and then your parents not allow you to do so and so. Yes, good English. And then they're the asshole. Then they're the asshole. You've created this separation narrative, and that separation narrative is literally the job of your ego. Is that how you deal with it? Is that how you mitigate being an asshole? Is you just ask yourself, am I living from ego? Right? Maybe that's the answer actually. Mm, no, doesn't work. Doesn't work every time, unfortunately. I tried it. Nope, doesn't always work. Damn it. Must be something else alongside it. I feel I feel it might still actually be ego. It just gets flipped, you know. And Ryan's knowledge actually is being transmitted to me right now as well, of a book he read called about the anatomy of peace. I believe he said the name was, and it's about the Israeli and Pakistani conflict and how peace could be achieved. And one of the things, and this is just transmitted to me a little bit ago, one of the things that they say is essential for peace to actually occur is for both parties to be willing to admit that they have faulted. You know, they've done something wrong, and from that place, there can actually be growth. So I feel maybe the answer is ego, because that is literally where we get stuck. We're unwilling to admit that we are in any way at fault in a certain exchange. And that is the ego, you know? Like your awareness doesn't care if it's at fault. There's no such thing as at fault. It was just aware of a certain pattern of ideas and then it made a conclusion. And if that conclusion is wrong, it had no attachment to that conclusion. It was your mind generating from external information, and your observer has access to all information. So watching your mind make wrong conclusions is just another show. It's like, oh, okay. No, but if you say so, that's an interesting thing to believe. You know, that's your observer's perspective. It doesn't care. Damn. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Little fractals, dude. Stuck in my head. If everyone is an asshole, then nobody is. Ooh, levels. We've unlocked it, friend. Thank you so much, Cerebral. It's nice to have you here, friend. How are you doing? How have you been? Yes, Genghis Khan, King Chom. A Ninja Nanner have to be a little bit spicy. Do check out Noam Chomsky. If you haven't yet, he's a modern day philosopher. Dude is old AF, but still alive. I need to go and check him out. He has a lit name as well. Noam Chomsky. We're responsible for what we project, but not how it is perceived. Absolutely. You're actually so right. Thank you for saying that as well, Jovan. Ooh, ooh, I needed that. We're responsible for what we project, but not how it's perceived. Okay. Hmm. I really appreciate that, Jovan. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joe. I know you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. And the concern is out of nothing but love. Exactly that. Hi, Jovan and Shannon. Nice to have you both on the tube. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us here as well at the Bay. Is he really perceived to be an asshole? He's got a brilliant mind. Who needs tears? I don't. Maybe I know about him. Maybe I'm just blanking, you know, with the name. But when I try and generate an asshole in my mind, I actually have a little bit of a hard time doing so. I mean, Putin. It's not that difficult. It took me a while to get there, but maybe Putin would be an asshole in my world. You know, if I could speak to the people at the you know, the heads of the board committees or the heads of the boards controlling some stock options for, you know, big oil companies or something like that, like maybe I could. And you know, the thing is, if I actually sat down and have a conversation with one of those people, I would realize that they're just like me as well. You know, it's only when we have this external perspective, when we have that sense of separation, where our egos don't actually have an opportunity to resolve, to admit fault on both sides, and to meet each other halfway, that we can label someone else as an asshole. Mm-hmm. Multifaceted human beings. If you ask the right person, then definitely there we go. That's it, Dan. That's it. With patience and attempt at understanding and breathing. Cannabis. Just breathing a little bit of that cannabis. You know, and it's done in moderation and it's done with respect. It's done with intention. And I feel anything, you know, a glass of water, a cup of tea. What I've been doing lately, you know, and this is something I heard from Flossie. She mentioned that she drinks a sip of water before she lights her incense in the morning. And in doing so, her breathing is her eliciting the response of air, as an element, her body as the earth element, her lighter and the little incense she's burning as the fire element, and then her taking a sip of water as the water element. And I got this little glass cup, and I put a little, amethyst crystal in it, and now I fill it with water. I tell it I love it twice, and then I put a little cover over it so no dust falls into my water, and then I have it there waiting for me. And I sit down in the mornings, and I gently take a sip of the water, and then I light the candle, and I focus on my breathing, and I'm like, okay, a new day. Here we go. And it's been an interesting shift of consciousness to start my day like that. I want to do so much more conscious work in my mornings, but I feel I also want to be getting up earlier, and I won't be able to do that anytime soon. Like my classes are starting up again soon, so I'll be up until 3 a.m. But I think after that, we're going to make some changes to the schedule, at least on this side. What is fair? What is fair? Is a good question as well. Who needs tears? I'm. Well, that's fair. I'm back here for some positivity, juice, and love. Monaro boy, here you are, dude. I hope you're receiving, friend. And positivity, juice, and love comes in different doses. Like it's not just one flavor, fortunately. Hermes Plur comes in a bunch of flavors. And today's flavor is definitely a little bit more contemplative, of asking ourselves the difficult questions as well. Being willing to look at the behavior that we've expressed, and to look at it from a place of, like, what I'm trying to do is see myself through the eyes of others, like literally. I'm like imagining seeing myself say things, putting myself in someone else's shoes, right? Hmm. Ryan, missed you guys this morning, but that inflates. Looking forward to seeing you next time. That's it, Jovan. Thank you so much for creating that potential. I appreciate it so much. We did miss you actually. Like I was actually thinking, I was hoping you would come to today's yoga session, but you were there in mind, and the fact that you were thinking about us as well means that you were there in mind as well. So technically, you were there. Nudge, nudge. If you ask one person, they'll tell you I'm the biggest bitch. If you ask another, they'll say I'm the kindest person ever. Everyone, and I believe everything has a place and a time. I feel that as well, Auntie, and I'm willing to admit that infinity is present within me as well. I'm just trying to look at it, right? Like really trying to look at it today. Talking about assholes. Oh, Ninja Nanner, what a contrast, if Monaro boy was gonna come back. We had to like throw him under the deep end. I feel like the idea that you're bothered by the fact that you may have hurt someone else speaks to where your heart is. Thank you, Dan. That's what it's about, dude. I don't want to hurt someone. Especially not, and I feel I shouldn't even say especially not, but especially not the people that I love, right? Like, and the weird thing is, it's almost like the people that you love the most are the ones that you end up hurting the most as well. And that's something that I see happening over and over again. I haven't fortunately done it that much in my life, but I've seen it in so many other lives. And maybe I'm hurting my dad. So maybe, maybe I actually am hurting someone I love. And then again, this place, after saying that, this place of awareness is like, of love. Right? There's no malicious intent. There's no me trying to come up with a certain scheme. Oh, I say this and then he's gonna be so devastated. No, never. Never. It's always from a call to awareness. And some calls to awareness asks you to admit that you haven't been aware about something. And our ego is unwilling to do that. It's unwilling to do that. Oh, finally, I belong. You belong this whole time, friend. We just made it a little bit easier. Nudge, nudge. How I act is based on how you treat me. If you're kind, so am I. If you're a dick, so am I. Exactly, dude. What a good point that is. Within ego, and like showing yourself that that is an ego thing as well. Where if this person is projecting the ego of asshole, then you being a beautifully pristine mirror shows them the asshole back. It's like, oh, okay, this is what you want to show the world. This is what the world is going to show you. And I know that's the initial reaction. That's what usually happens actually. And if he hurts you out of love before too, it's all infinite. You're so right, Jevan. I mean, I'm gonna have to. I'm not even going to. I don't need to. I wanted to say this thing that happened isn't out of love, but it doesn't matter. We're not encouraging not love. We're encouraging love. So let you go by the huis side. Melt into infinity, dude. No, thank you for saying that. Agreed. So much love to you. On the same goes for you. Again, it's just you friends mirroring back to me what you see within you. Really, I question why your father told you what your brother said about you. It seems like he was trying to put you down. What was the context? The context was a little bit sensitive in nature. It is definitely something that affects my dad's ego. I'll say that, but I don't want to go any deeper into it, Nancy. That is also what I felt. Let me just say that. But hurt people hurt people. And I feel, in this current state, there is the ego is hurting. Like, definitely. The ego is already taking a beating. So, admitting to more fault on top of the ego taking a little bit of a beating, I feel like that is the best time to. But it's also the most difficult time too, and the most difficult work is usually the most satisfying and the most rewarding as well. But you can lead the horse to the water, right? And so Uncle Becky's dad preached, but unto others as they do unto you, be a little bit better, be it good or bad. That's also actually true. Hurt people hurt people. Yeah, that's it, Javan. And again, it's another infinity. So many layers to this conversation. My brain is already exploding. Hey to you, no law or law no. It's nice to have you here, friend. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice of you to finally dedicate a stream to me, man. Eden. You're so welcome, friend. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice to have you here. Love to you, Mr. Please. Heath. Heath Ledger. Yep, it's me, dude. They didn't cast me for the new Joker role, which I'm highly upset about, but I guess I'll just stay in hiding for a few more years. Oh, friend. Hello to you, Oxina. NFKRZ, that you? I haven't heard that one before. Thank you, Xenostera. Okay, serious question. Do you think you would be better off not smoking marijuana? Honest answer? No, actually. And it's a little bit. It's not supposed to be an encouragement because every single person is influenced by these things differently, and your experience is going to be vastly different than mine, and that's literally the beauty of being alive, being a human being, is that we get to have these unique experiences. But like in my personal perspective, marijuana has had a net good on my life more than it has ever had a net bad. When it comes to my relationships, like me and my brother has a beautiful relationship with one another right now because we shared a joint, and the joint in and of itself didn't make any difference. The joint was but a tool that we both were willing to use. Where upon smoking a joint together, my brother actually felt comfortable enough to open up to me. And in opening up to me, he spoke to me in a way that you would a friend, that you would someone that you trust. And I listened, and like an hour went by of me just listening to stuff that happens in my brother's life. Stuff that I never even could have imagined the intricacy of being a human. And I told my brother that it feels in that moment like it's the first time I ever heard him speak. Don't you see so? Like it's the first time I ever heard him speak, and that experience, even though the marijuana helped it, allowed it, wasn't the thing that made that experience possible. Like it was both of us wanting to show up for one another that made that experience possible. And I mean, when it comes to my personal relationship with myself, marijuana has helped me love myself a little bit more. When it comes to my relationship to exercise, it has helped me feel more interconnected with my body. It has been something that I've tried to utilize as a growth, tool instead of something that I used to only escape with. So because of that, it is something that has had a net positive Minaro. But I feel it is something that needs to be done with intention. The first word I thought was caution, but I think intention is the right word. Loris Tyrell, new one as well. Thank you for joining us, friend. You stop that. Thank you for the silver, Mary. French me. Thank you for the love, Oxina. So very true. If I'm being an asshole, it is as a reflection. I'm trying to show you what an asshole you are, to get you to take a second and look at your as a what a beautiful point that is. Resta, resta. Peppy is very enthusiastically trying to play with the new little kittens. Here you go, kittens. Isn't it cold? Like my fingers are super cold already. You wanna go inside? Is that what's happening? Here, hide under this little tent I'm building here. Sorry about that. Yeah, you got a new kitty. I'm not setting the name just yet. Peppy. My sister wants to call her Wheat Peaks, but I really don't like that name. It's basically like a brick, like a pressed brick brand cereal that you add milk and sugar to. It's like the most unappetizing cereal on the planet Earth. And they want to call this little kitty it. Like, look at the size of her. She's so tiny. You want to be on the shoulder, little sweetheart? There you go. Oh, she's so cute. Namaste to you, beefy boy. Thank you for joining us, friend. When I try and generate an asshole in my mind, stop it, Dad. Is he stoned a little bit, Dewdrop? Yes, I am, friend. I think it's completely understandable, but I have tried to shift my reaction to be a better example, but offering understanding. I fail a lot, but the intention is there, and that's what's most important. That's the only thing that we can ask of ourselves. Kitty, look at her. Look at her. Good morning to you, Dad. If two hurt people hurt each other so much, it is better to walk away. I feel at some point there should be a breaking point, right? If the positives no longer outweigh the negatives, then something needs to change. Something needs to be done. But that's for you to decide, Shannon. I wanna emphasize that. Meowdy to you, Sovina. Thank you for joining us. Probably just a chill guy. Maybe both, beefy boy. Maybe both, friend. I agree. Different people bring out different parts of your personality. Respect to you, Dewdrop. Thank you, friend. Glad you're here. I should lean into this idea more. I've mentioned how I'm working to a promotion at work, but I have training in my current position that I'm still waiting to start. I decided I can be more helpful if I start my training on my own. There we go, Brother Bear. Thank you for taking that initiative, actually. Corey, that's amazing. That you get some generational and religious toxicity smushed into his being. He can't help himself. He is mirroring what has been taught, hard cycle to burst out of, especially when you don't try. Those are some powerful words right there, Eden. I couldn't agree more. Incredibly proud of you. So proud of you, dude. Thank you, genuinely. My job is busy for everyone, but if I put out a bit more and talk some and take some of the load of others, it'll make the job more bearable for everyone, and hopefully I can make morale better. Dude, being the expression of love in your workplace, dude. Thank you so much for doing that. Shoulder cat, does whatever a shoulder cat does. Climbs on shoulders, gets stuck in hair. Oh, she has a beautiful pair of eyes. Here comes a shoulder cat. Oh, Peppy, Peppy Key, you curious about shoulder cat? Or even know that you're in a cycle of some kind. If you don't know you're in something, it's hard to recognize what's going on. It's like, waking up on a roller coaster and just flying through the air and being like, what the hell's going on? And then, someone is like, oh, you're on a roller coaster. And then you can like, oh, I'm on a roller coaster. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for letting me know. Now I know. Blessings to you, Jumpin' Jumanji. Thank you for joining us, friend. Kitty, a gift from Mother Nature to us animals, right? Like, how I feel I'm unworthy of something so delicately divine, sitting on my shoulder right now, like a whole ass entity. Like, this thing is alive. It like looks at the world with fascination. It's like semi worried about the fast moving nature of Pippi. If Pippi is like running like a crazy person, she's like, like she notices what's going on in front of her. They probably dream. Like me and my dad had a conversation about awareness, and it came up that we both agree that cats have more awareness than dogs, but dogs having lower awareness allows them more happiness, and that's why cats can sometimes look miserable or uninterested because of how aware they are. So yeah, this little dude is super duper aware, and he likes to be on my shoulder. That's why he kept moving, because he was like trying to climb me, and now he's a happy little camper, just chilling. You're such a good example at work and home. We are so grateful for you. Eden, thank you for being a reminder, for just, being another light to shine on our beloved Corey. Oh, sorry, Pippi. Sorry, with the piece. Oh, baby kitten, little baby kitten. Hey, brother Isaac says, hi, friends. So much love to each and every single one of you. Thought about you all last evening. Thankful for the times I've shared and the times I will share with this family. I'm jumping into work at the salon, just wishing you all peace and love on this Saturday. Mm, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Try and practice non-violence, Isaac. I know it might be a little bit difficult, but cut those hairs with non-violence. Even though you will be shearing them, try and imagine you're healing them. That's the only thing I felt like was coming up when I closed my eyes. Thank you, Brother Bay, for shortening us even for a moment. Have an amazing day at work. You're an amazing mother and an incredible wife and soulmate. I wouldn't be even a percentage of the person I am if I didn't have you. You're gonna make me cry, Corey. Yo, thank you, friends, so much for sharing your love. Such a sweet little kitty, so tiny. She's ridiculously small. Kitty is so small, very very small kitty. Like, and I was like wondering if she wasn't taken away too early, but apparently the dogs where we got her from my brother's friend Blaine. Their cat got kittens, and apparently the dogs are like really up in her space. Here you go. She's like, nah, I want to be on the shoulders. I want to be on the shoulders, sir. Okay, fine. I wanted to get her like a little bit closer to my neck, like here or something, where it'd be a little bit warmer, but she seems to be on her own mission. Nothing like a good shoulder kitty. Nothing like it, huh? I kind of feel like I would like to have it talk like a parrot, but that's a little bit unrealistic. Come here, come here, come here, come here. There we go, you sweet thing. Shoulder kitty. You want to go exploring a little bit? You decide. He needs a name like Steve or Jeff or Bill. It's a she. So, Stevina? Jeffina? Bilia? All A's. It's the easiest, I guess. I thought of you, and here you are, Venus for Vendetta. It's been a while, friend. We've missed you. Thank you for joining us again. You've thought about me, and here I am. You know, that's the wonder of me showing up for you, friend. Because even if you weren't here for a while, as soon as you needed to be here, you could be. So thank you for choosing to be. I appreciate it so much, friend. Sending you so much love. It's so nice to see you again. Oh my goodness, kitty's so cute. No, he did a squeaky one. Yeah, she's literally like a little squeaky toy at this moment. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, that's gonna be warm. Now she's comfortable. It's cute. You're both truly incredible people, and I'm proud to know you all. Like genuinely, like couple goals of like how how could I, be a parent and a loving partner one day, and then I have this archetype that is Uncle Becky and Aunt B, that is Corey and Eden. It is Toast and his beloved Giovanna and Harris. Love is true, friends. Thank you for being the expression of that as well. Hope you have a good day and enjoy being back practicing your craft. Thank you so much for the encouragement, Corey. Quick drop of joy sent to you all. Okay, so I saw this drop falling, but it was almost falling in slow motion, but instead of it being a normal drop, it was like pushing away the water as it was falling into the rest of the water. Almost like it had higher density than the rest of the water, or it was heavy, like actually heavy compared to the rest of the water. Thank you for the drop of joy. Dense, beautifully dense. We'll let it melt into all of us. Did anyone else beside me think of the Asshole Song by Jimmy Buffett? I don't have a fractal attached to that song, unfortunately, Nancy. Shoulder kitty. I wish I could stay. Natalie, you were here, and I appreciate you for that. Masking a nest in the hair for warmth. Literally. Sending so much joy, healing, and love to you all. Thank you so much for that as well, Aunt B. Just trying to put out some of the love and inspiration you and Uncle Becky share with us. There we go. Fractal gets completed. What breed is your doggo? She is a Jack Russell Monaro, sending abundant reflection of it back. Oh, Jovan saying, anyone else spending their morning in a crystal cutter puddle? Goodness. So I'm just imagining the little doggo, and I'm imagining your parrot. But I don't know if you have any more critters, Jovan. Please do paint us a picture if you'd be willing to. Lean Breakfast says, have you ever done a sweat lodge? I don't actually think I have. I've been in like saunas before, but I don't really think that's a sweat lodge. Thank you for asking, friend. Cats are awesome because you can make them anything. And it's just like, oh, cool. We had a cat called Tonka Steve. And we have Mr. Meowgy. Man, those are cool cat names. Wheatbix. Wheatbix isn't a cool cat name. At least not in my opinion. I still don't know if I have a cat name. I feel I'm gonna ask Vessel to pick a cat name. Nope. Like I have no names coming up. I don't think I've ever named a cat. Actually, that's a lie. That's a lie. I have named a cat before. I called a cat I had when I was like 9 Ghost. He had these little like socks on his like little feetsies, and they were like, let's call them socks or sockies in Afrikaans. And I was like, nah, Ghost, which is like the singular for sock. Like, je kan het sokkies noemen, maar dat is enkele kosa. Like that's the plural, kosa, and then one ghost. And I was like, there's one of him, you call him Ghost, and that was what his name was. And I kind of liked Ghost, it was fitting, but I don't know what the next name will be. I hope it's not Wheat Bix, please. Slow mo, Icy Tie. Thank you for joining us. Tahoe, nice to have you here as well. I was thinking I'm an Asshole by Dennis Leary. Another one I unfortunately do not know. Luna, the Dark Princess of Love. Meowdy Queen. Thank you for sending love. I appreciate that so much, little Eden. Such a little cutie. Oh man. A little being. Every single time I hold a little being like this, I imagine what it would be like to be held by a being that is as much larger than I am to her. That is larger. Why can't I words right now? A being equal in the scale and size as I am to it, holding me, and me just being like, and it like rubs my head, gives me little neck tickles, and I'm just like, yeah, this is fine, no problem here. Like I don't understand how they do that. How is it that we have pets? Doesn't actually make sense to me most of the time. Hi, puppy. How? Can you tell me? Those cat names are cute and creative, right? They're perfect. I also had Turd Ferguson the cat and Boobs McGee. I do like Boobs McGee as well, that does work. I'm fairly knowledgeable in Jimmy Buffett songs. That's your fractal, like literally all the things you've experienced have allowed you to actually have all of that connection. So for you, just hearing like a few words in a sequence creates that entire experience that I don't get to have. Thank you, Lisa, for having it for us. My cat named herself. She was anxious on car rides and played a Mazzy Star for her, which calmed her down until her last breath. She was Mazzy. That's beautiful. Who needs tears? Thank you so much for sharing that with us and for allowing us to remember Mazzy with you. I'm going to have to look that up. I mean, how would you know? How would you complete the fractal that is now, being inquisitioned, suggested, questioned? It's like a little question mark. Who's that fractal? And you have to go and listen to the song to know now. My kittens' names aren't so creative. Mary Jane and Mystery. I think all your I like all of yours more. Tahoe, they're your cats. They're your experiences names, and they're perfectly beautiful exactly as they are. Thank you for sharing yours with us as well. I hope I'm reincarnated as one of my pets. How lucky would you be to be you as your pet and then realizing you already are. So love. Love your pets. Love your pets like they've never been loved before. Love your plants. Love your family members. Because it's the way. Chicken head. Thank you for joining us, friends. Nice to have you here. How are you doing? I hope to be at Haywire Hill Comfort Critter when I grow up. Which one would you want to be, though? Is the question on being. Would you be one of the goatsies? One of the kitties? One of the dogers? A Reuben? I would be one of the dogers on a Haywire Hill like plot. That would be quite a vibe. Those dogs are living the good life, especially since they get to play with one another. So they get to have like a whole, doggo community. It must be such an experience. Goodness. Thank you, Aunt V, for suggesting it as a little thought experiment for us all to play. Thank you, friends, for being here with me today, for feeling into this question of, are we sometimes? assholes, and how it can be a reflection of the person that we're addressing in that moment, how it can be an attempt to share love and the other person is unwilling to see it as such, or it can be just you being an asshole, and to allow ourselves enough of that perspective to see that we're not trying to be malicious, or at least to, with that perspective, choose to not be malicious. I appreciate you friends joining me. If you want to support this space, you're like, goodness, how the hell is this dude doing it ceaselessly? How does he feed himself? The answer is, you friends can help me. You can support me on Patreon for as little as $1. You get access to like daily works of art. So that's the real incentive. Not so much helping me, but the fact that you get access to daily works of art, right? For $1, 30 works of art a month, or 29, depending on how many days of month there are. A day, 365 works of art for what? $13? Hmm? That ain't some bad deals, right? Nudge, nudge. Joke, joke. Thank you, friends, being here in this moment with me. That is the thing that is of utmost worth at the end of the day. I appreciate you, friends, being willing to ask these questions, sit with them, feel into them. You friends, you friends are quite something. Genuinely, I can't even imagine. I wouldn't have been able to imagine, and yet here you are. I'd be in one of those alpacas. My son calls my daughters Smitty Smitty Barstools. I think it's hilarious. She hates it. My daughter, Smitty Barstools. I mean, it's not the most flattering little nickname, is it? Lisa, but I love it. Alpaca lunch for everyone. Thank you so much. Of course, ever the mom, beautifully so. Thank you so much on B. I'll see myself out. No, it's perfect. Smitty Barstools the second. That's my next kitten's name, Smitty Barstools. I do like Smitty. It's like Kitty, but of a shm. I kind of do like it. I'll throw it into the ether and see if it latches onto something. Also, way higher. Stop. I'm laughing. Friends, thank you for sharing this moment with me, for feeling into these ideas, these questions, these ponderings, just for a moment. You are quite something. Infinite, in fact. And you don't have to believe it, but just think about it. Just be like, what would I be if I was infinite? What could I do if I was infinite? How much would I be able to love if I was infinite? And just see what you feel. See what comes back to you. Love you, Mel. Love you all, friends, so much. Love you. Thank you so much, friends. Schmitty, Kitty that schmites. Kitty that schmites. I like that even more, actually. Ender of those that cross the boundary that is the farm. Just imagine her third eye opening up and just like beams of fire being shot at someone, instantly turning them to gas, into ash. All right, Shadish, thank you for joining us. Shahid, thank you for joining us, friend. It's so nice to have you here. Going into rehab today. Thank you for your videos. Take care. I'm doing all right. Good luck, friend. Thank you for taking care of yourself. Thank you for being willing to go to rehab. I believe in you. You got this. I'll be here when you're out again, friend. I'll be here while you're in if you have access. Thank you for allowing us to support you in that space. Thank you for the Patreon tag. I appreciate that on B. This body is reminding me pain is an illusion. That it is, Brother Bear. And within this illusion, you can change the variables, and then the illusion will change with it. So be willing to admit that to yourself as well. Thank you, Limpith. The almighty Schmitting Kitty. Smiting Kitty Schmitty. Kitty is so small. She is so tiny. Like a little being, hand for scale. Completely covered. Bro, rocking the double dimples. I only have one. Kinda envious of people that have both. Nah, I have one as well. No, sorry. You're perfect just the way you are, friend. You know, in this world, there's all of these individuals who have no dimples. And then there are all of these individuals who have dimples on both sides. And then the infinite universe was like, huh, okay. Okay. Alright, dimples, no dimples. And then it took you and put you in the middle. And here you are, friend. Perfectly beautiful just as you are. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing some love. BMW Invader. Interesting username as well. Thank you for loving you. Thank you for that as well, friend. Adorable. I love you all. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Thank you, friends. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for opening space in your consciousness and for being here with me in that. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, beloved friends. See you again tomorrow.